Guys, it's a brand new year and this is the first Sunday Funday of the year. We are at Casa de Lu as usual because today I always get bitched at about not doing enough easy installs or not a lot of affordable installs. So guess what? Being that's the beginning of the new year means new show season. So today we're going to be installing these bad boys. Alright, so you probably have a few questions. First one being, why did I decide to go with the Govee brand kit? And two, what does the kit come with? Let me show you. Alright, so as you can see, we got a user manual, a little social media manual, a key fob, which we will go over later, and then the actual light kit, which is 4 strips and a remote. And as you can see, a 12-volt cigarette lighter output. This is going to make things very easy. We'll go over that in a minute. And then just a few screws, which we'll figure out in a moment as well. This kit right here, so for clarification, this is actually called the Govee DreamColor Light Kit. This is actually one of their more expensive ones, but still very affordable. You can buy their basic RGB kit for about like 20 bucks, I believe. And the main reason why this one's called the DreamColor Kit is because for those of you guys that are familiar with PCs or ARGB, otherwise known as addressable RGB, this one will actually have color changing in a rainbow pattern as opposed to traditional RGB that just cycles through like the primary colors, I suppose you could say. So this one will actually blend all the colors very nicely. Each LED node has essentially a red, blue, and green along with the white, I believe. So it'll output and blend or essentially it'll mix the proper LED lights to give you the color you want. So it's a little fancier. You'll see, or as you probably saw in the opening clip of Subilu's car, it's really nice. So let's get this installed and then we can show off all the features. So I forgot to mention that it also comes with zip ties, so these might be really helpful. But as you can see, this is kind of the configuration. So this is the power, obviously, and then the remote. Looking at it, you could probably do this in an opposite direction if it seems more helpful to you. This is more than likely the way I'm going to route them, just because of the fact of the cable management, but in the end I will disclose how I did it. We'll see, but this is the way that it looks like it should be routed. And actually, I stand corrected. Upon opening the instruction manual, it looks like the ones connected to the actual power output go to the rear, and then the ones that go to the front, you're gonna basically route the cables along the side and then, you know, finish it off with the front ones. Again, we'll see how we decide to go about this. It's a little odd, but let's get straight into it. Also, phone support for those of you guys asking. Yes, Bluetooth, both Android and iPhone. Alright guys, so we're in the back seat, and the way we decided to route this is actually the way the instructions indicate. So the strips that are actually attached to the power source will go to the back, and then these strips attached to those will go to the front. The main reason being is because I want less cables in the front to be hanging, and as you can see, this one receives one cable coming in from power and then one going out back to the front, kind of like in series. So you know, you don't want to have so many cables dangling underneath your feet, especially where you're driving. Number two, the location that we decided to put this particular strip is, there's a metal bracket right here, and the actual floor mats go to like right here where my hand's at. So this should be perfect. So one of the cleanest ways that I did this is, as you can see, I'm holding onto the strip and the cable that gives it, the cable that actually goes to the other light, I'm sorry. So right here, there's kind of a small gap. You just feed it through, and then you see it's coming out over here. Pulled it out, just help it out, and now we'll be able to attach it here with the included adhesive that it has. The nice thing is that if this falls back here, you're not gonna have any issues of cables dangling, because there should only be one cable for the ones in the front, and no matter how you move the seats back and forth, because it's under the rail, the cable will not get caught, and this should be nice in place without any issues. So let's stick this one on. You will have a bit of a time doing the other side because clearly the Veloster doesn't have a fourth door, but we'll get that figured out. We'll do the exact same thing on that side, and then we'll work on the fronts. So sit rep, we're behind the driver's side. This side does not have that same metal bracket. So I'm assuming that that bracket, now that I think about it, is what holds that specific Veloster like mini kind of amp for the audio system. So you have a few options. I'm not gonna stick it yet. I'm gonna leave it where it's at. There's holes on each side, and obviously the kit came with screws, so you could drill it down, or it also came with zip ties so you could zip tie it up. I'm gonna leave it like that for now and not adhere it, just because I wanna make sure that the rest of the kit routes. But even if you were to just leave it as is, the light should still shine, so that's good news. So one thing that we did now is we routed all the cables as much as possible through the center console area, which we had removed earlier. So you see that there's 2 cables here going from the back seat to the driver's side, and then here tucked away is also the other cables going to the controller and the power input, as well as the front passenger side. The only one that I was concerned about was this cable, because it's really short to the shifter cable. So we're just going to zip tie it to it, so that way it doesn't have any player movement. And then the other 2 from the driver's side, we actually made go underneath it. So that way, again, we shifted and tested things out, so it's not going to be in the way. But I'd rather just be safe than sorry. I would hate for this to get in the way of something, so.
Pinch out a cable or something.
Yeah, what Lou said. So now we're actually gonna, before we stick the front things on, we're actually gonna put back the center console to make sure that we don't pinch or kink any cables, and then we'll just finish with the adhesive of these things and the final routing. All right, rule of thumb, before you put everything back, make sure that everything's working. So we did reassemble at least that section of the center console. As you can see, we got color and light there, we got color and light there. Now let's go to the back. All right, so Subi Lou and I are in the car now, and it's done. As you can see, that strip, you can barely see it, but it's nice and adhered with the adhesive. We routed the remote. It's actually in here, so you can have like quick little access. The way I wired it, it's kind of hidden and it's stuck in there. So realistically, the way I'm gonna actually control these lights is gonna be through that little remote, which Subi Lou has in his hands right now, or the Bluetooth app. You can see the other strip right there.
Don't mind my feet.
And the 2 rear strips, again, because of where they're located, they don't shine as much, and it's really hard to find a place to like put them at, like kind of discreetly and whatnot. But in the dark, obviously, and that's where it's supposed to be used, they're clearly going to shine and stand out. So as you can see, we have, you know, quite a bit. And then this is all cleaned up. It's nice and clean. One thing you may have noticed that I also did is, or you're probably wondering by looking at here, is where's the power output? Because again, it was a 12-volt cigarette lighter output. And as you can see, I still have my original dash cam with the extra USB plug, and then this 12-volt right here. Well, what I did was I bought an adapter that is USB to 12-volt input, and it's actually tucked away back there, and that's where it's plugged in. So if I were to remove this plug, which I'll show you right now, the lights are off. This is what's actually powering it. So when I plug it back in, they're back on. So yeah, that's just me trying to simplify it, but make it as clean as possible. There's other ways that you could do it. You could clearly splice the wire and actually hardwire it to 12-volt output. And there's actually a kit which is a little more expensive on Amazon. I believe it's called Op 7, which comes with the option straight out of the box to do either or. But from what I've seen and from all the reviews, it didn't have the dream output or the whole, you know, higher end LEDs to do the nice rainbow effect that these had. So, and these are cheaper, so I went with this one. This one also has one thing that doesn't have, and that's that little key fob. The only positive to the other kit is that you can connect it with all of their other LED products that they have, like underlighting and wheel well stuff. But I mean, if I really wanted that, then I would just focus on an outside kit and, you know, control it separately from the inside. So yeah. Yo, what up guys? So it's nighttime. I'm under my carport. This is perfect dark setting to show off all the features of this light kit. So first and foremost, I'm actually going to show you what it's like turning it on. It does require power. It's not like self-powered, or it doesn't have some sort of little battery to be able to use it without having power on. So I'm gonna literally just turn on the key to accessories. So one really neat thing that it does is it has a little kind of cycle check / an opening ceremony. So you're gonna see that right now. So red, green, blue, and then back to whatever setting you had it at previously. So I think that's really neat. As you can see, it's a little dim because that's kind of the setting that I have it at. I'm gonna turn on the lights, but yeah, it kind of matches your interior lighting. I don't want it to be super bright. By comparison, I'm gonna show you. So there's a few modes that we have on the little fob. Literally just 4 buttons. You slide this down. So first one controls on and off, basically. There you go, off, on. B, which is this second button right here, controls the brightness. So that's basically level 2 because I was on level 1, 3, 4, and 5. So that's the brightest. That's 100%. So again, I'm going to strobe through it, but we have the dimmest, which is, I guess, considered 10 to 20%. You can barely see it, but it is on. Then we have the next 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 at its brightest. C, if I'm not mistaken, just goes through the colors, basically the solid colors. So starting from red, then green, blue, a cool white, another shade of red/orange, another kind of lighter green, a slightly darker blue, then you have a purplish, but it's a light purple, a orange, a greenish blue, another darker bluish purple, more purple, yellow, cyan, which is kind of like a turquoise, and a deeper purple. It's got some crazy shades in there. This is another white with a tiny tint of blue. It's hard to tell. Then you're going back to yellow with like a splash of orange. See, there's just a lot of shades. I'm gonna go through the app to actually show you how intricate that can get. And then last but not least, the last button on here will go through music mode. So this is a specific mode. It's going to my voice right now. So I'm gonna just turn up the volume a little bit on the music over here, just to kind of give you a demonstration. So this is kind of like a VU meter that goes to the beat, as you can see. So this is another color mode on beat. So again, I'm kind of going through just that little simple beat because I don't want to get the video flagged. But that is the key fob and the overall normal functionality of the lights. Now let's jump into the app. So the app is really simple. It's called Govee Home. I'll show you right now. It's right there. It says Govee Home. So the first time you have it, you will have nothing connected. There will literally be a plus sign here asking you to register. So I'll show you what it looks like. You'll go here, and you'll essentially scroll all the way down until you find this little section right here that says interior car lights, and the one that we have is DreamColor lights. So I've already named it. It says Veloster, connects via Bluetooth, and there you have your options. So right here you can adjust brightness. You could go, like I said, there's the 18%. You can see it immediately dimmed all the way to brightest, and you can see the light kind of obviously intensified. And then you can choose your colors from here. There's some presets. The nice thing is there's this color selector down here as well, where you could just drag and drop and kind of select the color that you'd like. Or you can go down here to color wheel and then choose whatever color you'd like to have. So again, I'm sticking to that blue. There's also a little music mode and a DIY where you can kind of create your own little mode. But one neat thing that's not controllable through the fob, but you do require this app, is scenes. And I'm just kind of go through them. So this first one's called Dating. Has kind of this particular color scheme. It's a little weird. I guess it's supposed to set the mood. The next one is Candlelight, which does kind of like a chimney effect, I guess you'd say, but with LEDs. It's supposed to be candlelight. You have Romantic. Romantic is kind of funny because it strobes through, or it doesn't strobe, but it transitions through red and like purplish fuchsia colors. Yeah, there you go. You have Breathe, which I'm sure you're familiar. It's like it's breathing different colors or just pulsating very slow. Yep, there you go. Blinking, which is literally just fast blinking between colors. Energetic is similar without the off function, so it literally just cycles through the colors really quickly. Crossing is kind of like Sirens, but for whatever reason, the only complaints I have with this one is it's a cool function, but you can't change the colors. So it's literally just that blue and white back and forth. And finally, you have the crown jewel, the whole reason why this thing's called DreamColor, which has this really cool chasing. Again, another complaint and gripe is that you cannot adjust the speed of this. I really wish you could, but it is really nice to be able to have a high quality, kind of like ARGB LED strip, as opposed to just going through solid colors. This is really nice. It transitions very well. But guys, that does it. The only thing I'm going to show you now is the back seat, because unfortunately that is the ultimate kind of complaint of having a 3-door hatch and not very many great mounting points. So here you can see the front seats, and this is where a problem lies with my camera. It looks completely dark. They're actually lit, and there's a very slight splash of color. I'm gonna go down, but you can't really tell. Again, sadly, you might have better luck finding better mounting points if you're kind of not really having passengers in the back. If you really want to, you could just have the strip laying where feet would go and have the whole back kind of illuminate towards the top of the roof. But yeah, that's the back. All right guys, so before I peace out, this kit for $40, the Govee Dream Light whatever kit, is amazing, especially for those of you guys that are trying to spice up the interior, kind of have a little bit more ambient light, or like I mentioned, for show season, if you guys want to add some more oomph to your interior, then this is a very cost-effective way to do so. Again, it's very easy and it's plug and play. The wire routing, depending on how intricate you want to go, will be what will ultimately increase the difficulty level of this install. Again, I was a little crazy and I wanted to make sure that all my wires were tucked and clean, so I did remove the whole center console pretty much, just to route the wires correctly and make sure that everything was in proper order. Along with the fact that I did cheat a little bit, but I did buy the USB to 12 volt output adapter to make sure that the cigarette lighter power adapter wasn't showing and bulky and nasty. Obviously, if you wanted to go even further, you could hardwire it by splicing a few wires and finding an optimal power source to add it to, or again, making it a little easier, you can use one of those tap-a-fuse kits to add it to an already existing power output. So there's a lot of possibilities there. Realistically, if you don't care, it's your car and you just want it for your own convenience and your own entertainment, you could even leave the wires showing and just maybe drag them along the lines of the carpet, you know, to not have to deal with removing the center console. Ultimately, the choice is up to you. But again, for the price, everything that came in this, including that little fob and the fact that it does have a Bluetooth functionality, and as you saw, the music mode is actually quite reactive, and I like the fact that it has a few different options. This is a really cool buy for a very economical price. As always guys, do what makes you happy, no criticism. You might not do it the exact same way I did, you might do it the exact same way I did. Whatever works for you. It's, as always, it's your build and it's your car. So like I always say guys, do you, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for all the love and support. Bye. So we're still here at Casa de Louvre, and some of you guys wanted affordable things to do to the car, so we're continuing with